Have you ever found yourself craving a truly peaceful morning? No rush to get to work, no being pulled around by appointments, and no constant feeling that everything around you is getting more expensive day by day. For many people watching today, especially after living through enough years to understand what really matters, excitement is no longer the priority. What people want instead is room to breathe, a slower rhythm, and the reassurance that each day passing is not a race against rising costs. That's why Europe on Sale exists. This channel is not about flashy or grand homes, and it's not about selling a perfect story that feels out of reach. We focus on real properties with affordable costs, places you can step into with a reasonable plan, homes with clear photos, information you can actually check, and most importantly, the potential to become a real place to live, not just a dream hanging on a screen. We don't tell you what you should buy, and we don't want to push you into making quick decisions. What we want is to give you more options for a long-term plan. In today's video, we're looking at two homes in two completely different regions of Italy. Their prices are so far below the general market that they almost feel surprising. The first home is in Piedmont, in a small town called Grana, Monferrato. It sits among the classic vineyard hills of the Monferrato area. This is a traditional rustic house with old architectural character, extra spaces like storage and a garage, and the feeling that you're holding a small piece of history that's waiting to be brought back to life. The second home takes us to Sardegna, in the town of Nulvi, in the northern part of the island. From here, a short drive brings you to the sea. This is a multi-level townhouse in the historic center. It has balconies, a rooftop terrace, and the potential to become a true retreat once it's updated to match modern living needs. So take your time watching this. There's no pressure, no decision you need to make today. It's simply a journey to help you see a different way of living more clearly and to ask yourself whether it fits your own story. And now, let's begin. Grana Monferrato is a small town in the Piedmont region where daily life moves along vineyard hills and quiet village roads. Mornings here usually start very slowly. Shops open a bit later, people greet each other on the street with familiar words, and the air carries a kind of calm that only people who have lived long enough in busy cities truly understand the value of. This is not a place that excites you with energy or movement. It's the kind of place that gently eases the tension inside you. Everything feels calmer, softer, and in a quiet way, almost romantic, like a scene from an old film. And right in that setting, there is a traditional rustic house, very much in the Piedmont style, located along Via Garibaldi in the town. The price is what makes most people stop and look again. The house is listed at 8,000 euros. With a total size of around 150 square meters, that works out to an extremely low cost per square meter. Even within Grana Monferrato itself, average asking prices are many times higher. And if you look across the wider Asti area, the gap becomes even more obvious. So yes, this home sits far below the surrounding price level, and there is a reason for that. This is a property that needs investment and restoration. Structurally, the house spans 3 levels. It's described locally as having 4 rooms with 2 bedrooms. What makes it interesting are the details you rarely find in newer homes. Brick vaulted ceilings that feel solid and timeless, a balcony, a private garage, and most notably a separate fienile, an old barn or storage structure that was once part of daily rural life. For many buyers, that extra structure is where flexibility lives. It could become storage, a small workshop, or simply a separate space that helps keep life more organized. In terms of daily convenience, the location is a clear advantage. Because the house fits right in the town center, basic life is easy. The supermarket and pharmacy are on the same street. You can walk out and take care of everyday needs without relying heavily on a car. For larger services, the city of Asti is a short drive away. That's where you'll find a major hospital, the main train station, and highway access to reach other cities when needed. From a financial point of view, this is the kind of property that suits a long-term mindset. The low purchase price creates a safety margin for renovation and reimagining how the space is used. It could become a second home among vineyard hills, or a place for a slower way of living, as long as you're comfortable moving step by step and not expecting everything to be perfect from the first day. Even when you factor in renovation costs, based on our experience, this property still remains very inexpensive for what it offers. And there's one small question worth sitting with. When you look at a house like this, do you see a burden that needs fixing, or do you see a foundation where you can shape a life that fits you better? That's not really our question. It's one you need to ask yourself, because that question represents something deeper, what you are truly willing to give up to end the tiredness you're feeling right now. Continuing our journey, let's head to Nulvi. This is a small town in the north of Sardinia, where life moves slowly and feels slightly removed from the noisy coastal tourist areas. Mornings here begin with sunlight slipping through narrow streets and a few local shops opening at their own pace. The atmosphere in Nulvi feels different from mainland Italy, lighter, drier, and very much island life, where people live close to a small community and steady routines shaped over many years. The home we're looking at today sits right in the historic center of the town. The asking price is 19,000 euros, with a total size of just over 100 square meters. This places it far below the local market level. To give some context, average prices in Nulvi are much higher, and across the wider Sassari area, they rise even more sharply. So this home clearly sits at a lower tier than its surroundings, and that reflects its true nature. It's a property that needs to be finished properly in order to be used long-term. Structurally, this is an independent townhouse spread across 4 levels. This vertical layout is very common in historic towns on the island. The house has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, along with balconies and a rooftop terrace. That rooftop space is the real highlight. From there, you can look out over the town's rooftops and the surrounding countryside. Standing there in the morning air or watching the sun set, what you feel is quiet, peace, and a deep sense of calm. At the moment, the house is listed as needing renovation. The key issue is that the kitchen and bathroom are not fully completed due to a previous subdivision process. That means the new owner will need to invest a bit more to reach a basic livable standard. But this is not necessarily a downside. The structure is clear, and the layout allows the future owner to design the space based on real needs, rather than being locked into an outdated setup. And in the end, with such a low entry price, these additional costs tend to feel more manageable. When it comes to location and connections, Nulvi has a very specific advantage. A short drive brings you to the city of Sassari, where you'll find major hospitals, the main train station, and full services. Beaches like Lubagno and the Castelsardo area are close enough for a day trip, yet far enough to avoid peak season crowds. The Alghero Airport is within reasonable reach, and Olbia Airport is a longer but still practical drive, offering flexibility for international travel. From a financial point of view, this home suits someone looking for a second residence or a place for longer stays once basic work is completed. The low purchase price reduces initial pressure, while proximity to the sea adds long-term lifestyle value. It could even work as a careful investment over time. This is not a home for someone who wants to move in immediately, but for someone willing to invest and plan, it offers a balanced mix of cost, location, and living experience. And when you ask yourself the real question here, it's not how much work needs to be done, it's whether you're willing to trade instant comfort for a lighter pace of life, slower days, and a place closer to the sea. We've just moved through a journey that was intentionally slow. And what stays with you after today's video is not really which house is bigger or which one is closer to the sea. It's the clear difference between two ideas that often sound similar but are actually very different. Owning a place to live and owning a place that weighs you down. Some properties look great on the surface, but every month they quietly bring stress, costs, maintenance, taxes, and the pressure to somehow make the purchase feel justified. Then there are other homes, more modest, less impressive at first glance, but they offer something else, the feeling that you're in control of your life instead of constantly running after it. If you're questioning how cheap these two homes are, that doubt makes complete sense. For anyone used to markets where housing prices rise year after year, sometimes even faster than that, prices like 8,000 or 19,000 euros don't feel real. But from my experience, even with a few issues to address, these homes can absolutely be worth it. If you're willing to understand the legal side and accept some renovation costs, they offer real value. When you look at everyday life, it becomes clearer why these options work well for many people later in life or as long-term investments. Living costs in small towns are usually much lower. Property taxes are not a constant burden. Basic services are there, and the environment suits rest and recovery. Most importantly, you're not forced to finish everything at once. You can renovate step by step, at your own pace, within your own budget. That creates stability and long-term value. Try to imagine an ordinary day after owning a place like this. You open the window in the morning, cool air fills the room, light moves slowly across old rooftops. You step outside, you meet someone you know, you exchange a few words with no rush. In the afternoon, you come back home. The house doesn't need to shine. It just needs to be calm enough to remind you that you're exactly where you should be. Nothing dramatic happens, and that's precisely where the value lies. So after today's journey, what stays with you the longest? A specific house or the idea of a life with less tension? If you have your own thoughts, share them in the comments. We truly read every one. And if this way of looking at things resonates with you, you can subscribe and continue the journey with us. Each video is another perspective on places where ownership still feels human, balanced, and sustainable over the long term. Thank you for watching. I wish you a good day and all the best going forward.